Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Dhimahi Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Om Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Om Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tano Vishwananda Prachodaya Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodaya Premavataya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodaya Shishaya Namaha Om Vishamaya Namaha Om Devakarya Samudhyataya Namaha Om Sukshmatanave Namaha Om Chinmayaya Namaha Om Guru Murtaye Namaha Om Sundaraya Namaha Om Sulochanaya Namaha Om Sumukhaya Namaha Om Charuhasaya Namaha Om Keshavaya Namaha Om Padmambujaya Namaha Om Mandagamanaya Namaha Om Charumbaradharine Namaha Om Ramaya Namaha Om Mandirastapakaya Namaha Om Shri Babacharkaya Namaha Om Gayatri Ajvane Namaha, Om Arpana Svikarakai Namaha, Om Vishnu Pujakai Namaha, Om Namo Narayana Yeti Mantropasakai Namaha, Om Swaramayai Namaha, Om Madhura Kanthai Namaha, Om Krishna Sankirtana Lorupai Namaha, Om Stotra Priyai Namaha, Om Itabhashine Namaha, Om Vagmine Namaha, Om Chitrakala Visharadai Namaha, Om Vratadharai Namaha, Om Sadhave Namaha, Om Jagatpantai Namaha, Om Salvalokahitai Namaha, Om Bhaktapriyai Namaha, Om Surdai Namaha, Om Anukulai Namaha, Om Neyai Namaha, Om Sudarshanai Namaha, Om Bhaktavasalai Namaha, Om Prema Murtaye Namaha, Om Shubhekshanai Namaha, Om Pretivardhanai Namaha, Om Svastidayakai Namaha, Om Tarakai Namaha, Om Anugrahai Namaha, Om Vardhanai Namaha, Om Architai Namaha, Om Arthai Namaha, Om Siddhipradai Namaha, Om Janardhanai Namaha, Om Manoharai Namaha, Om Mahakshai Namaha, Om Siddheshwarai Namaha, Om Bhasmabhushitai Namaha, Om Atmalingai Namaha, Om Lingachana Protsahakai Namaha, Om Siddhi Sadhanai Namaha, Om Madhavai Namaha, Om Omkaropasakai Namaha, Om Sukshmai Namaha, Om Vishokai Namaha, Om Sattvikai Namaha, Om Samadashine Namaha, Om Dakshai Namaha, Om Achintyai Namaha, Om Niramkarai Namaha, Om Nirmohai Namaha, Om Avyagrai Namaha, Om Jitakrodhai Namaha, Om Vinayashilai Namaha, Om Stavashai Namaha, Om Kushalai Namaha, Om Shamai Namaha, Om Satyadharmai Namaha, Om Nirvikalpai Namaha, Om Viraktai Namaha, Om Atindrai Namaha, Om Satyasandhai Namaha, Om Pavitrai Namaha, Om Madhura Svabhavai Namaha, Om Suranandai Namaha, Om Nandanai Namaha, Om Prasanatmane Namaha, Om Bhaktanidhaye Namaha, Om Sakshaye Namaha, Om Samatmaye Namaha, Om Sadayogine Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha, Om Sutapai Namaha, Om Samyai Namaha, Om Guyai Namaha, Om Vimuktatmai Namaha, Om Gabhirai Namaha, Om Guptai Namaha, Om Atmaramai Namaha, Om Srinivasai Namaha, Om Devai Namaha, Om Jyotidharai Namaha, Om Dhanyai Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Nuratikramai Namaha, Om Gahanai Namaha, Om Bhagavate Namaha, Om Harishana Margadarshakai Namaha, Om Kutastha Jagatakai Namaha, Om Aviprayai Namaha, Om Sarvamata Samatyai Namaha, Om Shamakata Bhavavarakai Namaha, Om Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Swami Namaha. Ato Deva Avantuno Ihato Vishnu Vichakrame Prithivya Sapta Damavihi Idam Vishnu Vichakrame Tredharidade Padam Samudhamasya Pagam Sude Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnu Gopa Ada Abhyaha Ato Dharmani Dharene Vishnu Karmani Pashyatayato O Vratani Paspashe Indrasya Yujas Sakha Tad Vishnu O Paramam Paragam Sada Pashanti Suryaha Divi Vachakshura Tatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagravagam Sasamindate Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. Premavataraaya Vidmahe Satgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Om Premavataraaya Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Om Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsariturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsariturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsariturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nam prachodayat. Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhusudana Kaita Bhare Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapane Daityadi Sarjadhara Sridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukminisha Bhavanasha Hare Murare Radhesha Gopesha Surupa Brahmadi Vandya Shri Dvarakashraya Vaikuntha Pate Bhuvanaika Murte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Minakrite Kamatarupa Varaha Murte Traivikramaya Guhane Bhararama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yadunandana Kalkirupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Paraparesha Damodhara Jadharananda Kadhari Shori Gopa Gopi Jana Samrata Dina Bandho Gopi Jana Priyaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shiraptishaya Bhujagadi Patal Pashaya Sadbhakta Hritsadhanashaya Ramangashaya Shri Gopavama Mrdutalpa Sukhadishaya Gopa Vallabhaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Pashyapatri Sukhanarada Gautamadi Brahmarshi Sangamani Sangava Bharatesho Vishkanti Deva Tava Darshana Bhagya Hetoho Gopala Sekaraye Tava Suprabhatam Mandada Jari Tulasi Kalamarikadyahe Malyani Anjali Pute Samudaharanti Vishtanti Totpavatatvaratale Munindra Radha Manoharaye Tava Suprabhatam Vedatrayam Patati Gautama Kanaguyaha Gayanti Sadguna Gadau Varada Savargaha Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kadari Sheshaha Shri Naradari Rashaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhano Dharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Suvesha Bhavaki Pota Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deha Shri Rukminisha Varada Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vatsachina Sharanagata Parijata Bhaktarthi Vanjana Kripakara Dina Bandho Dityandra Gayati Janapriya Divya Rupa Shri Nanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padmamukha Padmadhara Prameya Padmalaya Shrahita Padmanivasa Shori Padmodbhavati Surasedita Pada Padma Padmadhinata Haraye Dava Suprabhatam Vrindatale Viharanaya Mahendra Vandya Kandalpa Dalpa Haratinya Sudesha Rupa Chandranaya Sita Chandana Lipla Deha Govindayana Haraye Dava Suprabhatam Shri Nandanandana Yashoda Kumara Dhira Mayangadina Davichona Supushpahara Nilam Buddha Susharira Rama Vihara Gopala Deva Haraye Dava Suprabhatam Shri Bhaishti Jambavati Satya Suganti Bhadra Shri Mitra Vinda Divasam Prabhupote Karyahe Tishtanti Devya Bhavameta Vaseva Nardam Gopi Manam Priyaharaye Dava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Achyuta Ananta Mukunda Shori Radha Manohara Janardana Chakrapane Namani Divya Munayuna Nisham Vadanti Brahmi Muhurta Samaye Dava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Suprabhatam Ye Patanti Ahanisham Bhuri Kritam Mahapapan Shri Krishna Rahetukam Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Salvakarana Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshavateshu Sulabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Vishesha Shobhan Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Alola Chandra Kala Sadvanamarya Vamshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam Shamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Anganiyasya Samadindriya Vitrimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Amandu Chinmaya Sadurjvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitamachyutamanadi Manantarupam Hadyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Dulabhamadulabhamatma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Antastu Koti Shatavasar Sampragamyo Vayuratati Manaso Munipungavanam Sopyasti Atma Padasimya Vichintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Saura Chaidum Jagadanda Koti Yas Jaktirasti Jagadanda Chayayadanta Andantarasta Paramanuchayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Samprapya Rupa Mahima Samayana Pusha Shukte Amega Nigama Pratite Suvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Ananda Chinmaya Rasam Pratibhavitabhis Tabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Evanjana Shritabhagi Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Idayeshu Vilokayanti Yachama Sundaram Achinte Gunasvarupan Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishta Nana Vatara Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Svayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagatam Koti Kotishva Shesha Vasudani Vibhuti Prinam Kapramaniškanam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sute Traigunyatad Vishaya Vera Vitaya Mana Sattva Valambi Parasattva Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Chinmaya Rasatmataya Manashu Ya Praninam Patiparam Smaranam Upetya Lila Itena Bhuvanani Jayati Ashram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Golokanam Nijadham Nitale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridhama Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Vihidaschayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Shristi Sriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Jayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Vichanurupama Priyasya Chajeshta Tesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Kshiram Yatada Divikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahitata Prithakasti Heto Yasham Bhutam Apitata Samupaiti Karyat Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Vipachudeva Idashara Upapyapetya Vipayate Vividha Etu Samana Dharma Yastadrideva Isha Vishnutaya Vipati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Yakarana Valachale Bhajati Smayoga Nidramhananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupaha Adhara Shakti Mavaram Yaparam Svamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yasya Ganishva Satamana Matavalamya Jivanti Loma Bilaja Jagadananata Vishnu Mahasrayasya Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Bhasvanya Yashma Shakaleshu Nijeshu Tejaha Shriyam Kiyat Prakatayaptyapitat Vadatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yatpada Padavayagam Vinidaya Kumbha Vandre Pranama Samaye Saganadi Raja Vignam Vihantam Manamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Agnir Mahi Ganganam Ambut Maroti Shascha Kalastatadma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yachakshuresa Savitansakaragana Raja Samasa Suramurtya Rashesha Teja Yasyam Dayam Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Dharmotha Papa Nichaya Shrutayastapamsi Brahmadikita Patagada Vayascha Jivaha Yadakta Matra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yasyandra Gopa Matavena Osma Karma Bandhanu Rupa Palabhaja Manatanoti Karmani Nirdaita Kinchusa Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yam Krodha Kama Sahajam Pranayadi Piti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhavahe Sanchintyatasya Sadushim Tanuma Purete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Salvakarana Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jagadev, good morning. So today's Srimad Bhagavatam verse is from Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 38. Avid yamanyopi avabhati yidvayo daturdiya svanapna manorato yata tatkarma sankalpa vilaktpatam mano buddho nirandyad abhyam tata sayat. Translation is, although the duality of the material world does not ultimately exist, the conditioned soul experiences it as real under the influence of his own conditioned intelligence. This imaginary experience of a world separate from God can be compared to the acts of dreaming and desiring. When the conditioned soul dreams at night of something desirable or horrible, or when he daydreams of what he would like to have or avoid, he creates a reality that has no existence beyond his own imagination. The tendency of the mind is to accept and reject various activities based on sense gratification. Therefore, an intelligent person should control the mind, restricting it from the illusion of seeing things separate from Krishna. And when the mind is thus controlled, he will experience actual fearlessness. This is a very beautiful verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I like this verse for a few reasons, but especially the last line, right? When the mind is thus controlled, he will experience actual fearlessness. Because often, actually not often, always, in this world, as human beings incarnated on this earth, as also this verse alludes to, we are going towards things that make us comfortable, make us feel safe, secure, things that we deem as desirable, we're moving towards, and things that make us uncomfortable, that we think are detrimental to us, or however, we are tending to avoid. And so, this is human nature. But recently was the anniversary of 10 years since I met Guruji. So I met Guruji in either the 27th or the 28th of October. We're not 100% clear. Maybe Aruni would know for sure. I think it was the night of the 27th. Okay, there you go. Midnight. So 27th, 28th of October, 2014 is when I met Guruji for the first time. And funny enough, many years later, after that date, okay, I met him in an airport. Didn't know what to expect. Had no idea about anything about Hinduism or what a guru was or anything. Wasn't particularly searching for spirituality in my life, for a guru in my life. Because anyway, how can you be searching for something that you don't even know what it is? And so many years later, one of the devotees sent me a picture randomly one day and said, here's this picture that I have. And it's actually the picture of the moment in the airport in Washington where I met Guruji. And I remember he went to a bunch of us and introduced him, and he came to me and took my hands and said, "Oh, what's your name? Where are you from?" And there's a photo of that moment, which is amazing. And so the other day, Guruji texted me and said, "Happy 10-year anniversary," which is very, very sweet. And I sent him that photo. So I've been thinking about 10 years, right? I can't believe it, like genuinely. It's crazy. I'm turning 30 in December, so I've known Guruji for 1/3 of my life. And I was reflecting on that time, right? All the experiences, different things that I've learned with Guruji. Things that he's put me through, things that he showed me, miracles that I've seen. And I realized that a common theme over the last 10 years, and I'm sure whoever's listening that is a devotee or a follower or has some experience with Guruji, the theme is discomfort. Which again is what this verse is alluding to, right? When the conditioned soul dreams at night of something desirable and horrible, like I said, right? And so we're going towards things that we deem as desirable, and we're avoiding things that we deem as undesirable. And I actually came across kind of an inspirational post yesterday or 2 days ago on Instagram. And normally you see these things sometimes and it's like very kind of cheesy, and I don't pay too much attention to these things. But this one caught my attention and I saved it. And I like it. And it said, every time you avoid discomfort, you're reinforcing the belief that you can handle it. Here's why this matters. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you avoid discomfort, the less capable you feel. And the issue is this: growth and comfort typically don't coexist. There's a reason for this. Your brain will find comfort in what's familiar, even when what's familiar isn't what you actually want. Comfort equals familiar. Growth, in its very nature, is unfamiliar. The only way through this is to expand your capacity to handle discomfort. The more you do, the more you'll learn that you can. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the pathway to potential. And so I read this and I was thinking how perfectly this relates to Guruji. And how often he puts us in uncomfortable situations and how we can understand that. And so I wanted to share a few things over this 10-year journey so far that I've been on. Some uncomfortable situations with Guruji and why he might put us in such uncomfortable situations. And then ultimately, the whole point of this verse, right, that we'll kind of get to at the end, which is kind of going beyond even this comfort and discomfort, this familiarity and this unfamiliarity that we're so trained and evolved as human beings to seek and avoid. So when I first met Guruji in that airport 10 years ago, I was not in a comfortable situation. I remember being there. I was tasked with being the photographer for some reason. Well, I know the reason. I wanted to be a photographer, a videographer, so that's why. But I didn't know almost anybody, and I certainly didn't know Guruji. And I remember being at the airport, and I'm standing with all of these crazy American devotees. I had just come from Chicago City, kind of apprenticing with my uncle in the film industry. And I just spent 2 months with 2 teenage girls who were my cousins and a semi/quite dysfunctional American family living in Illinois. And they were, 16 and 14. So a lot of yelling and a lot of chaos, and then going into the city and being in the film industry, which is also quite crazy. And then all of a sudden, I was in Washington. I was in this airport. I just come from that, right? Literally. I had just flown to Washington to meet this man. And all of a sudden, I'm there. It's almost midnight. And all of these weird American people wearing weird clothing are chanting Narayana, which I don't even think I can do it because I don't know what they're saying. And the security guards and random people in the airport are staring and looking at us. So an uncomfortable situation. Then I met Guruji when that photo was taken. I remember it's very late at this point, and I'm thinking, we're just going to go our separate ways, and we're going to meet up with him tomorrow. Little did I know that dinner was prepared. I was like, it's like 1 a.m. Why are we having dinner? Didn't know that that was normal for Guruji. And so I was ready to go to bed. I was ready to go home. But instead, we went back to the house, and he immediately put me in more of an uncomfortable situation. I was already in an uncomfortable situation just being around all of these weird people. Very nice people, but a little weird from my perspective. But the situation also is very different, right? And I felt very much kind of out of place. I felt that I just kind of happened to be there by whatever circumstances. But all of these people were his followers. They had come to see him, and they were orbiting around him and serving him. And I felt like I'm kind of taking up space, don't really deserve to be here. Obviously, they're very, very excited. And he had an interest in me from the beginning, which can be often the case when you're new, if you've observed that. But he made me sit at the table with him, immediately I remember. And then after dinner, he said, you, what's your name again? Yeah, Cameron, a Canadian guy. Sing something. I'm not joking. Now, not only do I not know any bhajans or any mantras or anything, like I can't even sing a Western song. Like nothing is coming to my mind. Okay? And if you know me also, I do not like to be the center of people's attention. Now Guruji says, you sing. Super uncomfortable. Luckily, Swami Sridhar was there and he helped me, he assisted me. We did a very beautiful duet. No, not really. But I'm just saying, right, he put me from the beginning in a very uncomfortable situation. The first darshan that I received with him also, I remember, was very uncomfortable. Like just being, even now can be, I think, for many of us. It's not just something that I think we take lightly, right? You can feel quite nervous going up there, but especially the first time, I was like really freaking out. I don't even know why exactly. So that was 2014. And it didn't get less comfortable. He doesn't make things more comfortable necessarily, right? He just knows he brings you to a certain level, and then he keeps raising the level. I remember also when I was initiated, was initiated as Rishi in 2016, October 2nd, 2016. And a few days later, or like a week later, my sister was getting married. I remember asking Guruji, should I go to my sister? Yeah, you should go, definitely. Okay. So it was during Navaratri. It was the second day of Navaratri. I got initiated. And then 2 days later, on the 4th, I flew to Portland, Oregon. So imagine, I was initiated, was in the middle of Navaratri, just initiated as a rishi, and now I'm in the middle of Portland, Oregon, surrounded by family for my sister's wedding. So again, it's going from like this one reality, this one world, to a completely different world. Surrounded by family, drinking, eating meat, and and of course I was in robes the whole time. Was slightly uncomfortable, but actually at that point I actually felt very confident, let's say. And so this is the thing also, right? As you go in more uncomfortable situations like this post that I read, you start to learn more about yourself. You start to grow, right? Uncomfortability equals growth. There's also this saying that there's no atheists in a foxhole. I've said this to some Europeans before, and I don't think they understand. But a foxhole, the saying basically means a foxhole is a trench, right? In war. And the saying is like when you're in the most difficult situations, and foxholes generally are not very pleasant experiences, right? In the mud, the enemy is trying to kill you, all of these things, right? So there's no atheists in a foxhole. So you can be the most atheistic person, but when it comes down to it, when it's just you on the edge of life and death, right? The most uncomfortable situation you can be in, you have nothing else that you can turn to. The only thing that you can turn to is God. You only have yourself. And in turn, then, you only have God. But we need to understand why he puts us in uncomfortable situations also, right? And that he's very, very good at it. Because it's one thing to be uncomfortable, have slight discomfort, right? That's why I said that this saying also is important. There's no atheist in a foxhole, because, okay, meeting him at the airport, there's some slight discomfort there. Going for Darshan, there's some anxiety, can be some discomfort. Being initiated and then flying to my sister's wedding, being around all of these carnivore people drinking, and it's uncomfortable. And you grow and you evolve. These are relatively mild discomforts. But Guruji can be much more uncomfortable than that. And he can put us in uncomfortable situations, not only when he's in front of us, necessarily, in person, making us uncomfortable, but when we take Guruji as our guru, and we understand that everything in this world, in this creation, is from him, is from God, then we can appreciate also the things in our life that make us uncomfortable and understand why they're happening. And so there's many situations where I've been with Guruji where he's made me more than mildly uncomfortable. But what we need to understand is that it's not so easy to understand also. But that's why I'm talking to you, and that hopefully you can take something from my experiences, right, over the last 10 years. Something that I've come to understand is that he only does these things out of love. It's very easy to say that. It's very easy to hear that. Right? I just said it. We all just heard it. But when he actually puts you in a situation that is extremely uncomfortable, watch how quickly we will forget. How many people have left for that reason? Because they don't understand fundamentally the reason that these things are happening and why he's doing it. Right? Guruji has said so many times, what's the process of purifying gold? Right? So many times he said this. What's the process of making a diamond? You don't just take a diamond, it just looks like a stone, he says. Somebody has to take it and cut it. Somebody has to take gold and melt the impurities out of it, right? Then it is worth something. And so, when Guruji's perception of us is that he sees that diamond that we have inside of ourselves, that potential that we have inside of ourselves, not what we think, right? Like this verse. This is all just illusion, like a dream. It's one thing that we dream things and we have whole experiences in dreams when we're asleep. But this verse is saying your life is like that itself. And the mind is running around wanting this, not wanting that, wanting to be familiar and comfortable, etc., etc. But this is all just an illusion. And so when Guruji sees actually what is real, right? How many lifetimes we've lived that he knows all of them. what actually is in the deepest core of our Atma. What love did we hold inside of us? What potential that we have? This is why he puts us in these situations. To draw it out. To make us stronger. To make us grow. To shape us into the diamond that he perceives. Even in situations that many, I think, can't even imagine. There's a few that have really been put in serious situations where Guruji essentially even says, I want you to leave. Leave me. Even in those situations. Why am I talking about this? Because it happened to me. This is one of the experiences that I've had. Even in those situations itself, the most uncomfortable situations that he is creating, I'm telling you this because I know that he only does this out of love. This is a secret, which is very hard to remember. Truly. It's easy to hear. I knew all of this all before. I had heard this before. I had probably said it before. But until I was actually in that situation and this whole Leela that he played with me in 2019, where I had bought a ticket to leave him because I thought that's what needed to happen. Incredibly uncomfortable situation for me that he orchestrated over months and months until it culminated into this whole experience. Incredibly uncomfortable. I cannot express to you how uncomfortable that whole situation was on so many different levels. But at the end of it all, he revealed to me the truth, which was trust that I know what I'm doing and trust that everything I'm doing is for your growth, is for your benefit, is because I love you. And so I talk about this experience so often because not only is it important for me to remember, but if I can help you all, whoever's listening, also to try and remember this as much as we can. That even in those difficult, most uncomfortable situations, and I don't just mean when Guruji is in front of you making things uncomfortable, shouting at you or whatever it might be. I mean in life itself, in those most uncomfortable situations, you need to trust. You need to have faith in Guruji and in God. And ultimately, that's why I said the most beautiful part about this verse is the last part, right? It says, therefore, an intelligent person should control the mind, restricting it from the illusion of seeing things separate from Krishna. And when the mind is thus controlled, he will experience actual fearlessness. And this is the point. When we reach that level of absolute trust, of that absolute trust in that knowledge that everything is from Krishna, everything is from the Guru, every situation is his prasad, is given by him, then there is no more discomfort. How on earth could there be? Because you just perceive of the truth, which is love. Every situation is a situation that he's giving to you because he loves you. And so, again, as much as probably many of you have heard me talk about these experiences, right? All of these things that have happened to me the last 10 years. we still have to keep reminding ourselves. Because I think if we remind ourselves again and again and again, right, then in those difficult situations, in those most uncomfortable situations, hopefully we can remember, right? And hopefully, eventually, we can come to this state and experience this actual fearlessness, which is another way of saying experiencing this love that he has for us. Jai Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Yato yato yamitato narasimho. Yato yato yamitato narasimho. Yato yato yamitato narasimho. Yato yato yamitato narasimho. Bahir narasimho hridaye narasimho. Bahir narasimho hridaye narasimho. Bahir narasimho hridaye narasimho. Bahir narasimho hridaye narasimho. Narasimha madim sharanam prapadye. Narasimha Narasimha madim sharanam prapadye. Narasimha madim sharanam prapadye. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada lada. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Ito narasimha parato narasimho Yato yato yamitato narasimho Bahir narasimho Hridaye narasimho Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye Davakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhutashlinga Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanobinga Keshavadhirita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhirita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tadubringa Keshavadhirita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Navakara Kamalavare Nakama Bhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhirita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhirita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Narasingha Dev Narasingha Dev Narasingha Dev Jai Narasingha Dev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Om Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Shri Vishwananda Gurudev, 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 Shri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Gurudev, 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 Shri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Yatindraya, Karunakaraya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Yatindraya, Karunakaraya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Praparti Dharme Karataya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Praparti Dharme Karataya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Shaligrama Pratishtitaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Shaligrama Pratishtitaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Tridandatarini Godagrajaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Tridandatarini Godagrajaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Rangesa Kengaya Rataya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Rangesha Kengaya Rataya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Mananataya Dharinitharaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Mananataya Dharinitharaya, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala, Mangala me.
Mangala, Mangala me. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Swami Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sankata, Dasa Janon ke Sankata, Shana me dura kare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jo yave phala pave, dukha bina se manaka, Swami dukha bina se manaka. Sukha sampati gara ave,
Sukha sampati gara ave.
Kashta mite tanaka. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Mata pita tuma mere, Sharanaga hume kisaki, Swami Sharanaga hume kisaki. Tuma bina ora na duja,
Tuma bina ora na duja.
Asakaru me kisaki. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Purana Paramatma, Tuma Antarayami, Swami Tuma Antarayami, Parabrahma Parameshwara,
Parabrahma Parameshwara, Tuma Sabhake Swami.
Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tuma karuna ke sagar, Tuma palana karata, Swami Tuma palana karata, se vakatuma swami,
se vakatuma swami,
kripa karo bharata. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Tumaho Eka Agochar, Sabake Pranapati, Swami Sabake Pranapati, Gisa Vidhi Milundayamaya,
Gisa Vidhi Milundripaya,
Tumako Men Kumati, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Dina Bandhu Dukha Harta, Tumara Shaka Mere, Swami Tumara Shaka Mere, Karuna Hatha Badhao,
Karuna Hatha Badhao,
Sharana Pada Tere, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Vishaya Vikara Mitao, Papa Haro Deva, Swami Papa Haro Deva, Shraddha Bhakti Badhao,
Shraddha Prema Badhao,
Santana Ki Seva, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Dana Mana Dana Sabha Hai Tera, Swami Sabha Kucha Hai Tera, Swami Sabha Kucha Hai Tera, Tera Tuja Ko Arpan,
Tera Tuja Ko Arpan,
Kya Lage Mera. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Swami Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sankata, Dasa Janon ke Sankata, Kshana me dura kare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Mana Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji. Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji. Chakra Go, Chakra Go, Chakra Goji. Chakra Go, Chakra Go, Chakra Goji. Mane Chakra Goji. Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Shama Mane Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Govinda Mane Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji, Giridhari Lala Chakra Goji. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Govinda Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Bhagavan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shri Hare Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. Prem se bolo Bhavatar Kriya Baba ji ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shri Bhutabhrteshwarnath ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sadguru Deva Sri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki Om Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janavalabhaya Paraya Paramapurushaya Parakarma Mantra Yantra Tantra Oshadhasha Shastrani Samraya Samraya Mrichor Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Diti Jvalapritaya Savadichobirahum Bhat Parishmaye Parabrahmane Paramyodishe Swaha. Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sham Venkatanamana Govinda, Gopika Jivana Smanam Govinda, Bhakta Vatsala Govinda, Pundalika Varade, Ekanath Namdev, Banarinath Maharaj ki, Rukmini Maharani ki, Samasta Bhakta Mandale ki, Alvaram Purumanar Thiruvarikale Sharanam.